Well, what do you know? Another Tuesday night. Thank you guys. Appreciate everyone for joining tonight. So, again, kind of a little ramble session. I figured I'd throw this together and kind of get into it with you guys as well. So, it's always one of those things where we find ourselves sipping on an awful lot of whiskeys, and I'm always curious to know what it is you guys are drinking and why and all of that. So, I figured. Hey, what the heck? Let's kind of get into some things tonight. I'll open it up in a little while. We'll kind of have a little more of a kind of a, I don't know, let's say open mic night or something, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of have fun tonight. I'll let you guys choose what I'm going to be sipping on first. So as you can see, kind of to my left, your right. I've got the Hard Truth, which is something I've quickly become an absolutely huge fan of. Love what it is they're doing. Same thing with the K-Luke. I keep missing the boat on the K-Luke, and I'm starting to get to the point where I almost need to set like an alarm or something to make sure when that thing drops through seal box that I'm able to pick something up. Fortunately, they're pretty good about getting a couple of samples out to a few of us to kind of at least still do some reviews. The bad part is once you do the review and you know how good the whiskey is, you want a whole bottle of it. So that's a little bit of an issue. And then kind of something I would say was a bit of, I don't want to say a surprise, but something for me that was a little bit, I don't know, kind of surprising. Barrel is one of those companies that we all know that, you kind of feel like you need to have a pour of something before you get into buying a bottle. The bottles aren't, that expensive, maybe between 80 and, maybe $90, depending on what state you're in. 'Cause I know sometimes they can get a little bit pricier, maybe even upwards of $100. But for whatever reason, this batch 34 of Barrel really kind of resonated with me. It's got a fair amount of older. I think it's got 6, 8, 10, and 12. Actually, maybe it's 6, 8, 10, and 15-year bourbon. One of the two. But anyway, some older stuff that really added to the overall complexity of that. So that was something that I was, I guess, really pleasantly surprised once I kind of got into it. But let me go back to the beginning here real quick. Say hi to a couple people. Blind Squirrel, how's it going, bud? Good to see you. Mr. Roy R. Does Cocktails, always good to see Roy in here. Top Dog, good to see you, Johnny. Always. What else we got here? Sugar Kitty, as always, good to see you, Kitty. Tater Dom, good to see you, Tater. Cheers to you. Benny, how's it going? Cheers to you, bud. What do we got here? Yeah, same here. I've got that one kind of stuffed over here to my right. We'll see, depending on how late things go, whether or not I get into that one or not. But that's going to be a fantastic one. I think we're looking at maybe, let's see, when were we down there? May, I think. So June, July. That could be a couple more months. I'm thinking maybe August, maybe September sometime when we should see the Hard Truth, depending on how that all goes. Timmy, good to see you, brother. What do we got here? Love me some Heaven's Door single barrel source from Tennessee, 126 proof, red fruit, stone fruit deliciousness. Okay, so I wasn't aware that that Heaven's Door was sourcing from Tennessee, so that's good to know. Kim, good to see you. Hopefully you and Mark are doing well. Always good to see you. Mr. Perkins, good to see you, buddy. Always nice to see a familiar face. I love that Louis IV. Is that right? V? What is it, V? 10? Is that 9 or 4? School. Oh, boy. I'm trying to think V. Geez, what is V? Is V 5 or 10? V must be 5, I'm guessing. But I I've been taking a hiatus from barrel, but it sounds like I should pick up either batch 33 or 34. So both were different. 33 was also very good. For some reason, I thought 34 tasted a little bit richer because of the slightly older whiskey that was in there. So yeah, okay, thanks. I thought it was four. For a second, I was kind of tricking myself. So good to see you, Henry. Good evening, friend. Sipping on some Bullet single barrel. Bullet for me is probably one of those bourbons that was underrated. We did a single barrel pick, oh boy, going back quite a while ago, and had two of them, and couldn't have been any different from each other. So, but the barrel was, or the excuse me, the Bullet was, both of them were very good. We had one that was, man, almost tasted like an old fashioned in a bottle. So. But always interesting to hear what people are sipping on and why. Let me ask you guys this before we kind of dive into anything else tonight. When you are, let's say, not out with a bunch of people and you're just at home and you kind of pick a bourbon, what particular like proof range are you guys in? I guess for me, if I can be anywhere from basically 100 to maybe 110, unless it's something I'm going to that's higher specifically, then that's kind of my range, that 100 to maybe 110 range, just because I feel like I don't have to think too much about that. I know basically what it is I'm going for, and I'm not having to, worry about tasting notes or anything like that. And I can just drink it, sip on it, and kind of enjoy it. So. Girth Brooks, good to see you, brother. I said, hey, brother, enjoy your evening, and I look forward to hearing what you are enjoying. I'm having some Maker's Mark 1. Oh, yeah, I like the Maker's 101. I think that's pretty good, too. So, Paulie P, good to see you. Evening, everyone. Found North Batch 7 is in the, oh, you got Batch 7 already. All right, so I'm waiting on mine. I'll hopefully be having Nick on here before too much longer, and we can talk about the newest batch 7, maybe even kind of hash over batches 5 and 6 as well. So 105 to 130. All right, so Henry, that's a huge range. So, I would say when I'm just at home, unless it's something I'm going to be really kind of taking my time with, I really don't go much above that 110, maybe 115 range if it's something I'm just looking to just be sipping on and not kind of worrying about notes or anything like that. So Katie, 100 proof daily sippers, higher for a special pour. So that's kind of where I'm at too. And just for me, it's a little bit more, and it sounds like for a lot of you as well, where it's a little bit more of just a comfortable type of thing. So Roy, same thing, same range. Don't want to go overboard with the others. Yeah. So, I mean, that's part of it too. So Lance, good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping in tonight. And if you guys want, if there's anyone who wants to sip along with me here in a little bit, I'll open it up and we can just kind of have a little bit of an open mic night and just share a couple pours if you guys want to do that. So Lance says, cheers, Scott. Digging into Found North's second summit. I just grabbed today. So I'm assuming maybe is that the newest batch 7, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't know if there was a name or something. So so let's see, Jeff Scott. If I'm out and about, I'm not going to get something low proof, 100, 115. It's a whiskey bar, then it's a different story. Yeah, I would agree. So man, I'm right there with you on the proof. Yeah, it's just one of those things where, it's not something you feel like you have to just think about a lot of things. You're not trying to get blown away. And again, proof comes with a lot of extra stuff, as we all know. So thoughts on the early times bottle and bond. So that's kind of a little bit of a loaded question. I would say now with them being kind of bought out by Sazerac, you know what? Honestly, I don't know if I've had an early times that was the newest, kind of newer since Sazerac took over. I've heard some people say there was some slight differences. I don't know if that's the case or not. I have some of the older ones, And I think as a daily sipper, I think it's a perfectly good good bourbon. So no issues with the early times bottle and bond. So cheers, Maddie. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping in tonight. Deathless Dogs. Hey, so hopefully you're enjoying Kentucky. I know you guys left the good old state of Wisconsin, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the weather in Kentucky. So let's see. Second submit is batch 06. Oh, okay, gotcha. So how's it going, Nate? Good to see you, bud. What else we got here? Sipping water, the low proof stuff. Picking my son up at 9. All right, understandable. So in any regular Wisconsin bar, I'm just going to get Knob Creek. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing wrong with a good old like Knob Creek 9-year. And again, 100 proof. I mean, that's a real just nice everyday kind of bourbon. 100 proof seems for a lot of us, fairly easy-ish to drink. And it's one of those things where, Knob Creek, good age, again, pretty decent proof, 100 proof. And you can't go wrong with that. So no arguments from me on that one. So cheers to Mr. Jiggs. Let's see. Matt's got, so besides Barrel King, been enjoying Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Cast Strength. Earthy and spicy. Okay, so Matt, I've heard some kind of mixed, reviews, thoughts on that one. So, that's not one that I typically dive into. Not much of the Redwood Empire stuff for whatever reason. I don't know why necessarily, but I don't know. Yeah, so are we. So we've got a couple of those here. So this batch 4, I think whatever we had, sample 4 and 5 that we ended up selecting the other night. And we've got, I think, only 6 cases that we're going to get of the 5 or 6 cases, which is a case is 6. And of the 18-year, I was going to say, what am I thinking of here? What's the rum? Rolling Fork, but Foursquare. Thanks. So got those things coming. That's probably going to be sometime, I'm guessing, released late August, maybe sometime in September. That should go fairly quick. So what do we got here? So batch 6 is the S finish is a PX Sherry, but 18 years. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, so let's see. So is there any one of these things up here that you guys are interested in me maybe sipping on and or kind of chatting about it a little bit? I've done reviews of 34. I've done the batch 4 of the K-Luke barrel strength. Have not done this one yet. Which one do I have up? The malted rye, which I absolutely love malted ryes the vast majority of the time. So if there's one that you guys want me to go ahead and pour, fire away. Actually, this one's been a little bit of a surprise to me as well. So that's the Bardstown, the Discovery 10, which I was actually pretty happy with. So okay, so here's my man coming off the back 9 or the back 18, I should say. Back 18, the back 9, wrapping up on 18. Probably been out golfing all day. Now he's looking to kind of chew the fat a little bit. How are you doing, Marty? Good to see you, bud. Same thing. So that's kind of where I was at too. Before I was there in May, I had never had anything from Hard Truth before at all. So also, just to kind of spring forward a little bit, actually, I was chatting with Brian, the head distiller there today, and we're going to work on putting something together where I have him on either in July or August. We'll see kind of how the schedules and stuff work out. But yeah, John, I was kind of the same boat. I had no expectations, didn't know much about Hard Truth, and that's the way it was. I want to retry the Hard Truth. I only live an hour away from there. I'm right in between Hard Truth, Spirits of French Lake, and Star. All right, well, that's a good spot. Yeah, I would definitely go back to the hard truth. I think it's something you're going to really, really enjoy. Now, this is, again, the malted rye. I've got over here a chocolate malt. I've got the caramel malt actually downstairs. And then our pick that we did, I was able to kind of snag some from the barrel and bring a little bit of extra stuff home. That color that you guys see right there is not altered at all. It is literally that dark, and this is just over 3 years old. The cool part about that one was, again, it's a sweet mash rye that they routed the inside of the barrel. So it was kind of like a spiral cut, and then whatever was kind of cut out fell to the bottom of the barrel. Now they store their barrels vertically, so all of the barrel char that was routed from the inside of the barrel fell to the bottom. So you're going to get a lot of interaction with those shavings, kind of doing its magic. So basically, kind of like a double oak almost. So it was kind of cool. And when we tried it, it really became pretty unanimous, I think, in the end as to what it was we were going to select. So, all right, I think you guys were good with the hard truth. So let's pour a little bit of that and kind of get into it a little bit. So the malted rye, now this is one I've not even done a review of yet, but it's something I'm really kind of looking forward to getting into. When I had the malted rye at the distillery, I was kind of blown away. Again, at relatively young ages that they are doing some absolutely amazing things. So, all right, Paul, what do you got here? So, Scotty, did you manage to pick up K-Luke 5? That went faster than M&J pick. I'll tell you what, man. No, short answer, no, I didn't. I missed it. I saw like probably, I don't know, later in the day that they were releasing it, and I went back and tried, and it was gone. So they definitely don't last long on seal box, that's for sure. So what else we got here? What's going on, Adam? Good to see you, bud. The spiral cut is just like the Frank Sinatra. Yeah, basically same exact thing. So it was kind of cool from that standpoint. So when we were able to try it, absolutely fantastic. Really glad we got that. I think as that thing sits in the barrel even longer and probably does its thing, I'm guessing it's probably going to get even more chocolatey than it was. Lots of chocolate, caramels. It almost reminded me, honestly, of both the caramel and chocolate malt of the hard true sour mash kind of combined is a little bit of what it reminded me of. So if it stays consistent like that all the way through to the time of bottling, that's going to be a home run of a pick. So what do we got here? So, all right, let's get into, and I think this is one, just the regular malted rye, I believe is one, if I'm not mistaken, something you can get kind of on the regular with them. Oh man, it's just like a beautiful, like minty, caramely custard. There's a little bit of like of an herbal tea, more of like a green tea kind of note. And one thing I'll say with their stuff is, even if you're not someone I think who digs the like rye whiskey, I think their stuff is approachable enough that you may actually really enjoy it. So because what we ended up with, or I think the caramel malt is, if I'm not mistaken, was a 51% rye, so sweet mash rye. I think it was like 38%, something like that, of corn, and then like another 10 or 11% of like a caramel malt or something. So I don't know if that's typical of their mash bill, as far as instead of like a caramel or chocolate malt, if that's just like the percentage of malted barley. But if it is, that makes it drink somewhat closer to a high rye bourbon than it does, a rye. So that's, basically a low rye whiskey, but was really, really good. So let me give this thing a try, and cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. Got nice mints, caramels, nice spice. Really, that spice goes down. Get a little bit of that kind of Kentucky hug. Proof wise, what do we got on this thing? Not too bad, 112.2. So kind of a nice proof, to be honest. It's got that lingering baking spice. That's one thing I'll say that's kind of something I've noticed a lot of. There's a little bit of a kind of like a green apple, kind of like a pie, maybe apple pie aspect to it, but great like baking spices, like for like pie baking spices. Those brown sugars or just kind of some little confectionery um, sugar, not the powdered sugar, but more when I'm saying when I say confectionery, I really mean more of just like a granular sugar, something along those lines. But nutmeg, cinnamon, all of that. But man, they're really doing some amazing things. You would have no idea that these things had such a low age on them. So, all right, what do you got here, Nate? I agree, Scott. I don't enjoy many ryes anymore, but I enjoy that Sagamore Hard Truth and what Hard Truth is doing. They're just something about it, and I think when you can kind of lock into a few of these brands that feel like they're doing something a little bit more, special, that they're paying attention to the finer details. That's really one thing that I think is starting to translate into the flavor profile of a lot of these whiskeys, and what it is that Brian at Hard Truth is doing, and his team is pretty outstanding. And again, I think similar to like what Peerless is doing with the sweet mash, I think there's definitely something there that's allowing for, if nothing else, to have this creamy texture that it has. And maybe that's also part of why those ryes can be maybe a little bit better at younger ages. I don't know that. I'm just guessing when you kind of put two and two together, that both, what it was at Peerless and now Hard Truth, both, sweet mash, have had younger ryes that have tasted significantly older and just more developed at a relatively young age. So, definitely. So the Corbin Cash. So for anyone who's obviously in here, part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, we've got our Corbin Cash that we did. Well, we probably did that maybe a month or so ago now, and hopefully in the next month, maybe month and a half, we get ours. And that thing was, I'll say, top notch. It was a really fantastic rye. And like I said to Jason, I'm not even sure if anyone would have known, like right off the bat without spending some time with it, whether or not that would have actually have been that was actually a rye or not. It was just a great whiskey. And coming from the state of California, man, they are doing some really, really good things. So that'll be another one of those distilleries that we kind of keep our eye on, maintain contact with, and just try to, get, at least, one of those, every year. So there's my man, Mr. Ritter. How's it going, brother? Good to always see you. What else we got here? So yeah, definitely, Nate. Give if you can find some of the Corbin Cash stuff was pretty good. I think our pick actually came in like low 130s, and man, it did not drink like that at all. It was just a absolutely fantastic rye. So, but again, I would say for anyone who's not familiar with Hard Truth, get familiar with them. I think they're about ready to kind of explode. I think the word is kind of out, or at least getting out, as to what it is they're doing. And I think it's going to be very, very quickly going to be a distillery that a lot of people are paying attention to and really want. That caramel malt is fantastic. If you dig like a little bit of a chocolatey kind of profile, that the chocolate malt is a really cool thing too. And again, it's a nice mash bill. Again, lower rye, high corn, relatively, average malt. So whether it's caramel or a malted rye or whatever it is, they're kind of staying in that 10, 11% on the malted barley side of things. So yeah, definitely. I thought I saw you and Renee. I don't know. I thought Renee had a bottle of it or something the other day. It's what made me also think about it as well. But all right, let's get into this here a little more. Man, it is rich, oily. If you gave someone that, there's no way that someone's going to tell you that's a 3-ish year old rye. It is really developed great. Why? I don't know. It just, when we were there, Ritter was there with us as well. I think our pick ended up being absolutely, absolutely fantastic. You know what? While I've got you guys here, let's give this thing a try. And maybe this will get someone excited. If you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club and you want good whiskey, well, you know where to go. Hit me up if you want. All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh man, that thing is chocolatey. Nice baking spice. Great baking spices. Again, very, very well balanced. It's just got a tremendous flavor profile. Again, a little bit more of that kind of caramel, green apple, chocolate kind of note. So, man, that's gonna be. I'm gonna let that one sit out. I want that to kind of open up. I'll grab another glass here real quick, but absolutely fantastic. So, take a little. I don't know. Maybe ours will end up being that. There's probably a little more fruit in there. If I would have spent a little more time with it, probably could have definitely gotten some dark fruits. But I can the chocolate and the caramel, all of that was coming out and got a little bit more of a brighter kind of green apple kind of note on it as well. But all right, what do you got here, TCT? I've been digging in the back of my cabinets and been drinking 1792 single barrel and the 12-year, but mostly hitting the M&J picks. Just got my modern. All right, cool. All right, that's awesome. So I think what I'll probably do is if there's anyone in here who got their modern Dusty and it's worth me going live on Patreon after, and you guys want to sip along, with me or me with you guys, let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to kind of go live if there's at least a handful of guys. I don't want to sit on there and no one pop on. But if you guys want to do that, then I'll be happy to go live for an hour and share some of the modern Dusty, which was this bad boy right here. And yes, does it look like motor oil? Yes, it does. Almost 130. What is it? 130 proof. 129.7. We had 43 total bottles. 41 we had for sale because of the 43, Jason and I got one as well. But we had 41 bottles that were able to be sold. So incredible whiskey. So, all right, what I've got next. So what about either anyone interested in either the Barrel Batch 34, K-Luke Batch 4, which these things go so quickly, or Mr. Ted Tronson was nice enough to send me a sample of the Stag Junior Batch 22A. If anyone cares to hear about that one, then we can. I mean, I know the Stags are not going to be anything. I probably won't even review it. It's just one of those things where there's so few people get the things where it doesn't even seem to be, worth doing, but definitely can get into the batch 34 if you guys want me to do that. But one of the other things I'll say, man, don't sleep on what it is K-Luke. So I remember, or we all probably remember what happened with, Old Carter, and those things just kind of blew up and they are where they are now. But I think, K-Luke is probably going to be one of those, kind of companies similar to like Barrel King, where they were kind of, plodding along, and then all of a sudden things kind of exploded for Jared and Rachel at Barrel King as well. But and rightfully so. When you're doing good things, you're pumping out good whiskeys, good blends, whatever it may be, then that's what you get. So it's one of those things where you can't sleep on these. And that batch the batch 4 of the K Luke was fantastic. So all right, let's pour batch 34. And this is one of these things. So I've got a video that's coming up pretty soon. And for me, Barrel has been one of those companies again where they do great things with the barrel proof stuff. It depends on what it is that they're blending, how much of the percentages that they're using. But again, you can't just judge, I don't think, Barrel solely off like maybe one bad experience that you've had. There's enough that they continuously pump out that these batches are starting to, I think, significantly get better in my opinion. So, all right, let's crack batch 34. Yeah, I think the K Luke stuff is a lot of the FOMO, kind of kicks in, Paul, with that stuff. And I think people are buying it to buy it, and maybe without even ever having it before. I never had batch 1. I've had 2, 3, 4, and I've not had 5 yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting into 5 when that one drops. So what's up, Mr. Henson? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, see, for me, 34 just drinks and smells, I should say, like an older whiskey. So I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and see what the ages of what particular whiskeys were in there. I thought I saw something about that, but there were nice ages that were there. I know some people get a little bit crazy when they see Tennessee and things because of the influence that it could be. But in my video that I did, I was really honestly never picking up any of that, that Tennessee whiskey kind of nose or taste. I know people identify it as mineral or Flintstone vitamins, something like that. I really wasn't getting that. So if that sometimes is a turnoff for you, I would say, 34, I would recommend. I think it's a great bourbon, especially with the ages that it has, and whatever the Tennessee part of that was not much or any of a factor for me. So, let's see, what do we got here, Ritter? So I'm not sure. I get the crazy love for K Luke. I tried batch 3. It's fine, but didn't knock my socks off. So maybe what I would do is try 4 and 5. If you can get pours, see what those are like. I think there's probably been a significant bump, especially 4. And again, I haven't tried 5. 3 I thought was good. 4 I thought was exceptional. 4 was, for me, honestly, if I had to like do a whiskeys of the year at this point, the batch 4 would be in it for me. Again, that's saying it without even trying batch 5 so far, but 4 for me was that good. Yeah, Jeff, I think you'll like it. I mean, that sweet oak, a little bit of an orange profile. See, for me, some of the Dickel stuff that I get is a little bit more of, rather than like a Flintstone, I pick up more of an orange, like an orange zest kind of profile from some of the Tennessee stuff. And I don't mind that little bit of orange in a bourbon. So I really like that. But the nice thing about this is those older whiskeys 100% show up. And it's for me, I think, just a really nice sipping bourbon. I think one that an awful lot of you guys and a lot of other people who, may not want to give, Barrel a try, I think you would really, for the most part, enjoy batch 34. So, All right, what do you got here, Dave? What do you got? Oh, I'm having a Russell's 13. So little flexing on everyone I see here. All right, that's okay. It may have been batch 4. All right. Well, I mean, we can't help that your palate shot or anything. I mean, batch 4 for me was really really good. I really enjoyed batch 4. So it's just one of those things for me. It just really stood out. Good proof, just good balance. It's blends of Kentucky and Indiana bourbon. So Jonathan Maizano is doing a pretty fantastic job blending that stuff. I think he actually does it with his wife as well. So EJ says, Tyler, thank you. Your bottle showed up. Well, okay, you guys are trading some things. So I'm really needing to. All right, well, Girth, you might want to. I don't know if you are or are not, but if you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, you might want to consider getting in that. We've got stuff coming from both Barrel King, and we'll have more stuff coming from Found North as well. So hopefully, I'll have Nick on here again pretty soon to talk about the Found North. But again, it's Barrel King. We've really been lucky being able to do a lot of those things. We've got our community blend coming probably very soon. To be honest, so I was talking to Jared the other day. He was referencing that they are in the finishing barrels and thinks that the stuff is going to be ready like literally any day. So, but yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the deal on that. So, all right, cool. All right, so yeah, definitely trigger on. Let's see. I am a member. Sadly, I pulled the trigger on the Starlight picks from last year. That will change. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of good stuff, and I get it. You know, we kind of had towards the end of the year pumped out a lot of stuff. Things have kind of slowed down a little bit just to kind of let some things breathe a little bit, get some more things under us. We've got some incredible rums coming again from Rolling Fork, which is again the Foursquare stuff. Man, that's some absolutely fantastic rums. So it's so hard to try to tell everybody some of these things are fantastic without giving a little bit more of a descriptor. And as some of you will see through my Patreon, what I've been trying to do is do a video that's giving more of a nosing and tasting kind of notes to try to express that a little bit more for you guys rather than just trying to give you on paper, tasting notes. I want the description and my reaction to those whiskeys to kind of come through, and hopefully that helps you out. Similar to like the one we've got coming out on Thursday, which is our Backbone, the Fusion blend, which is a 6-year MGP bourbon that was finished in rum, port, and then it was double oaked. So absolutely fantastic. Again, I put out the video today through Patreon. So it's just one of those, I think, finished bourbons that just has the perfect blend. It's very well balanced. They just did an incredible job with that one, so I'm excited to be able to kind of pump that one out on Thursday as well. So there's the boss. Good to see you, Katie. Hopefully you're doing well. And Mr. Boss, how's it going? Ethan, good to see you, brother, as always. What's up there, Grifster? Good to see you, bud. So anyway, all right, so let's get back to this. So this is batch 34 of the barrel. And again, I think MSRP $80. I would say I think it's worth it. I think there's enough older, complex whiskeys within that blend. And again, they're masters at blending this stuff. So I think it's probably at $80 a fair price for what that is. I think it tastes and drinks slightly older than maybe some of the prior batches. 33 was pretty good. Actually, I thought 33 was very good as well. 34 for me, maybe even a step up a little bit from that. But both 33 and 34 are kind of buys for me as well. Before that, I'm trying to think back. I think I had 32 but didn't review it. I was kind of okay with it. I don't remember 31. 30 I thought was kind of okay as well, but I'd have to go back and check. So, what else we got here? What's up, TW? Good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Aloha. Cheers, EJ. Man, that sweet oak, nice caramel notes. Again, a little bit of an orange zest. And from early on, now I let 34 sit open for a little while, get some air before I just did a review of it. I'm really glad I did. When I first kind of opened the bottle, it was kind of so-so, but I think once some air kind of hit that, it really, really kind of took off in a very good way. So my recommendation would be, if you see barrel batch 34 and you're okay with spending $80 and you're okay with barrel products, I think it's worth picking up. I'll leave it at that. All right, what do you got here? Any advice for us rookies who get frustrated watching truck chasers score all the good stuff? Yeah, I got a perfect advice for that. Join a whiskey club. I'm a bit biased to the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. For me, I think, and I'm probably in that kind of lazy pool as well when it comes to just having no desire to chase after all of that allocated stuff. I think, whether it's us or another group pick or something like that, you're getting really good whiskeys delivered to your door, I'll just say, on a monthly basis. You can ask just about any of the other guys or ladies that are in here right now, and they'll probably advocate for, a group to join. And I think it's a good way for you to choose what whiskeys it is that you want to buy. Again, you don't have to buy all of them, but if you're wanting to try a lot of different things that maybe you can't get your hands on, and you're not wanting to chase after every truck that is stopping at the local liquor store, then find a good club to join. And I think you'll be happy with that. Let's see. Yeah, like Ethan and Katie are saying, find some of that other stuff like that. So, what do you got here, Paul? So let's see what we got here. Scott, a different club I'm in does virtual tastings with different distilleries from time to time. Where can we buy 5 50 ml sample packs and then do a Zoom with the distiller? Just as that. So Paul, good kind of question with that. So what I try to do, at least with my Patreon stuff, is, and I'm hoping to start doing more of them right now. I'm actually working on one with Driftless Glen. I know a lot of people enjoy what it is that Driftless Glen does, and the idea behind that one was to exactly do that. Try to send out 4 or 5, 50 mLs of each bourbon to let people taste through, and then get either a distiller or a rep on there. So stay tuned. So Paul, if you're wanting to do that with either our group or something like that, then it's something that I try to do, and then I can offer it up to you guys, to kind of do along with me. So if that's something that you're interested in, hit me up, but kind of stay tuned with some of that as well. What else we got here? Yeah, like Roy says, we've talked about it as well, and he does the same thing. I know Roy doesn't do much or any real chasing, and he just kind of relies on the picks that Jason and I do and bring all that stuff to you guys. I mean, I'm biased, but we're picky with what we try to do, and we try to bring you guys the best of whatever we possibly can, and we hope it kind of translates over to that to you guys. Mr. Christopher David, good to see you, brother, as always. Yeah, exactly. Like Todd said. So some of these are kind of fairly easy-ish to get. You're not having to go chase after all of those. Paul, if you want, let me see here. Here's the email. If anyone wants to email me, if anyone's interested or wants to consider joining Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, there's also a pinned link in the description or in the chats. you guys can hit that as well. Or if you have other questions, feel free to send me an email, mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. Happy to answer any questions for you. Let's see here. Yeah, I think a lot of people unfortunately missed the batch 5 of the K Luke. So thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. It is. I mean, I'm kind of biased, and honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be in the same boat as you guys. I'd be just latching on to a to a club that I enjoyed their picks and just kind of resting on those laurels. It's just one of the things where if you find a bunch of good picks that someone is interested in, or that you enjoy what it is they do, and I know there's other clubs that are out there. I'm not just saying ours as well. I mean, obviously I'm a bit biased, but it's one of those things where, just find someone or palettes that you appreciate, and kind of go down that road. So yeah, geez, my bad, for crying out loud. So sorry about that. What else we got here? Top dog. So how's your Patreon different from the Mash and Journey? So mine is so John, myself and Jason, we run our Patreons as separate. So like I run mine, he runs his. When it comes to Mash and Journey stuff, what we do is we do all of our releases same time, same date, all of those stuff, same kind of rough, benefits, tiers, all of that kind of stuff. We have that stuff all structured so that it's not just one universal Patreon. We both have ours, but we run it together, if that makes any sense. So whether you're a patron of Jason and or myself, we release all of the picks that he and I do, same times, same everything. So we try to make that as uniform as possible. So what else we got here? So all right, let's see what else we got here. So anyway, quick little thing on the batch 34. I think it's a buy at $80. I don't know if I'd want to pay more than that, but anyway, if there's anyone who's set up and you guys want to join, if not, I'm going to probably do a Patreon live after this. So if there's any patrons and you guys want to be part of it, I'm going to try to drink some of the little bit of the Modern Dusty if there's anyone that wants to do any of that, but trying to maybe do some of those things as well. But let's do this. Maybe I'll stay on for another 20 minutes or so here. Let me drop in the link if there's anyone who's ready to go and you guys want to join and just kind of chat for a few minutes. You can we can do that. So all right, let's do that here. All right, so I'll drop it in the chat, and there you go. You guys can join away if anyone's ready and you want to share anything that you're kind of sipping on that you're kind of digging these days, then fire away. Cheers, ED. Good to see you, brother. It was good chatting with you last night as well. All right, what do we got here? So planning on Wisconsin Distilleries event in Milwaukee in late October. So now are you saying like as far as like a meetup or something? Because my plan right now is to probably do a kind of like a Wisconsin or let's say Midwest meetup. So I'm sure there'll be some guys from maybe Illinois, maybe Iowa that will come. Obviously Wisconsin, things kind of in this general area, maybe within a couple hours. I mean, if you want to come from further, you're more than welcome. But it's gonna be kind of I may, whether I do it at a distillery at my place, the idea is probably get a bunch of guys and ladies together and just kind of share some whiskey, have a good time. I'll have some food, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of working on that with my wife, Julie, right now, kind of putting something together, and then I'll send some things out. So if there's anyone who's interested, you guys can always reach out to me, keep in contact with me. The email I threw up there before, but if you ever have any questions, by all means, send me a message. Well, that's a bummer. What the hell are you guys waiting on, for crying out loud? I know you probably have to get there first. So what else we got here? Yep, that was a nice one. That was a nice one. Yeah. So if you're interested, just shoot me a text. I can try to put you on a list or whatever for when I get ready to reach out to people. I'll start kind of setting some of that stuff out. So, all right. What else we got here? You know what? I That's not something I've had, EJ, a lot of, honestly. The Baker 7. We actually tried seeing if we could get a single barrel of that, but there was really a no go on that one as well. So, um, it's safe and sound. You got to protect that stuff. So, all right. All right, let's do this. I will set this one aside over here for now, just so I don't forget which one that is there. Last one I'll finish up with here is let's talk a little bit about the batch 4. I'm hoping that, honestly, the batch 5 is as good, if not better than 4. If that's the case, batch 4, or excuse me, batch 5 is, I'll say, even more, I don't want to say special, but it is very, very good. 4 was already very, very good. All right, what do you got here, Adam? 220 house back on the Gulf of. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you're back. Are you down in Florida yet or not yet? I know you were heading to Florida, but I wasn't sure if you were already down there or not. But man, it just has that like quintessential, just fantastic bourbon profile. Okay, not yet. It was rich, complex. I thought it was very, very well balanced. I thought the blend that they did was pretty spot on with it. Great spice. I didn't think one thing about it that it is 117.7. Maybe my palate's just a little more acclimated now, but one thing I loved about it was the sweet oak that it has on it is absolutely fantastic. That sweet oak, nice, like rich caramel notes that are there. Again, very just tried and true bourbon profiles, but just blended very, very well. So if you want just a good bourbon, man, the Batch 4K Luke, you cannot go wrong with that at all. So, um, guys, even as much as the bottle is good looking, I'm assuming you're talking about the bottle, unless you were talking about the guy in the red shirt. But I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, the bottle is fantastic, and the rye whiskey inside the bottle is even better. So if you guys can get your hands on a little bit of the hard truth, this happens to be just the malted rye, which is fantastic. Both the caramel and chocolate malt are both very, very good. Caramel malt's a little bit more difficult to find, but I'm going to say all of them definitely worth buying. And I think the price point on it was, for just the malted rye, I thought maybe about $70. And I thought the like caramel malt and chocolate malt were more of that $80 price range. So it's kind of one of those things where, I think it's still pretty decent pricing. When people look at the age, I think some may say, oh, it's overpriced based on the age. I think with hard truth, you just have to get past those younger ages and just understand what it is. So if you're a little bit on the fence and you can somehow, get a sample from someone, I would say definitely consider that. Now, maybe in the next July, August-ish timeframe, I'm going to get Brian on with me so we can kind of go over everything, about hard truth and all of that. So. All right. Yeah. Sorry. It's geez, I'll tell you. I don't even want to get into that. Oh, you're both. Oh, you're both here. Oh, it's two bosses. So couples. All right. Good. Perfect for couples. That's for sure. Hopefully the torn Achilles tendon is starting to heal up. I've never done it, but I know it's an awfully painful thing. I had a really good friend who did it playing basketball, and when we were playing, the sound that came out of his mouth, you knew instantly something was wrong. And where he was holding his foot, you kind of knew exactly what it was. So hopefully you're feeling better, Julie. What else we got here? So hanging AZ. All right. Cheers, bud. So let's see. K Luke batch 4. Man, it's very creamy, very kind of fairly viscous. You know, I mean, the proof is not like destroying your palate or anything like that. It's probably pretty on point, maybe slightly under that 117. Maybe for me, it feels a little bit more 112-ish, something like that. Maybe 5 proof points off a little bit, but absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I know that's kind of a long recovery period. I think my buddy, from the time it happened until he was basically back to like full strength, I think he was like in that 14 months or something like that is about what it ended up being. I know it's not a quick thing. You know, you think of that tendon that's there, and it's just not something you can stress. And the more you put on it, the more difficult it really is. So cheers, Bourbon Bill. So what I'll probably do here is, if there's any of the patrons in here, I'll probably maybe head over and do a Patreon here in a few minutes. If there's anyone who wants to do that. I'm not even sure if anyone wants to do it or not, but I thought about maybe doing that. Got to give a couple little quick updates with other things kind of going on, really all of that stuff. So Mr. Dart, how's it going? Good to see you, bud. Headed to Kentucky next week. Any bottles I should be looking for? Man, I'll say this with Kentucky, it's just not a great place at the end of the day to be like hunting for whiskeys. I mean, I say to people, just go to Kentucky, have a good time. Don't worry necessarily about finding a bunch of things. I mean, last time I was there, which was maybe back in May, kind of stopped into a couple liquor stores, and frankly, there wasn't anything that, I don't want to say that you can't get here, but there was nothing like super special. And I would say nowadays, if you do find anything that's kind of like that, you're probably going to pay, an arm and a leg for it. So, it's just not great hunting unless you get outside of Louisville a little bit and try some of those places. Maybe you'll find some of the Four Gates, things like that we don't get here at all. You can find stuff like that. Maybe some Hard Truth, even though Hard Truth is now in Wisconsin. So a lot of the Midwest stuff is as well. But yeah, so if you do, like Ethan said, if you do get to Luxro, you more than likely can find that Luxro, that 12-year that they've got, the Rebel 10 usually. Again, it's going to be a little bit on the pricier side, but you should be able to find those two at the distillery. I think the Rebel 10 is maybe in that 110-ish range, if I'm not mistaken. So, but anyway, so all right, maybe a few more minutes. Anyone got any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions for you guys as well. So let's see if I missed anything before. I don't think so. But anyway, so I would say, of the pours I've had tonight, the Hard Truth, again, the malted rye, fantastic. If you guys can start to introduce yourself a little bit more to the Hard Truth, I would encourage you to do it. I think what it is that they're doing, a few people in the chat can probably vouch for that. Ritter was there. Mr. Jeffrey Wack was in there with us. Who else? I don't know if anyone else was with us that was in here or not. But so Hard Truth is definitely legit. They're a company to definitely keep your eye on. The Barrel Batch 34, I would say, I think it's a buy. I mean, at $80, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it's a buy. And the K Luke Batch 4. I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have these up here if they weren't whiskeys that I would be enjoying myself. So obviously, if I'm going to spend the time to drink something outside of our own picks, and I want it to still be good or on par with a lot of that. So I think any of those that I mentioned or kind of sipped on tonight would be worthy of you guys spending your money on. Now, the other thing I mentioned, part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, we just did the Rolling Fork, which again is the Foursquare rum. We've got a 9-year. All right, so let's see. I'll tell you guys exactly what these were. So bottle number 4 was a 9-year aged Barbadian rum that was finished in a Woodford double oak cask, which was crazy good. And then the third, that was the fourth. The third bottle we tried was actually the Woodford is a 10-year. The Woodford is a 10-year rum. This one, which was bottle 3, which was a 9-year rum that was finished in Elijah Craig barrel proof casks. So we've got both of those coming to you guys. We did 2 half casks. So I think roughly 100-ish bottles of each cask. So not a lot. I think they're probably going to be fairly friendly price points on that. And then we've got either 5 or 6 cases of the 18-year Barbadian rum that was finished in, I forget what the other cask was. Maybe it wasn't even finished in another cask. It might just be sitting in the original ones. So anyway, fantastic rums coming. But again, that's just what we try doing quite a bit of, trying to get you guys the best of what we can. So let's see what else we got. So all right, guys, I think that's probably it. Next Tuesday, there won't be any live stream. I'll be kind of out of town with the 4th of July stuff. So there won't be anything next week. The following week, I'm finally going to get the guys from Hemingway to come on and talk about their story. Couple of guys that you're going to want to listen to. They're kind of some vets in the business who kind of came from other places, started this company. And then after that, the following week, I'm going to have Seth from Broken Barrel on, and we're going to kind of chat a little bit about kind of what it is he's doing, what he's been working on, kind of the transformation a little bit of Broken Barrel. So trying to work on a few more kind of interview-ish kind of talking whiskey about with particular brands, things along those lines. So trying to do as much as I possibly can with and for you guys. So I appreciate all the support as always. So can't go wrong with Sagamore John. Great whiskey as well there. So all right, guys, thanks again for tuning in tonight. Greatly appreciate all of the support as always. Again, if you haven't joined the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, we got a link in the description. Happy to have you. Send me emails if you have any questions. Happy to answer any of that stuff for you guys as well. Both of the other distillery guys that I'll have on, the Hemingway and the Broken Barrel, we'll be doing bottle giveaways of that as well. So a little more incentive to kind of tune in. But again, other than that, appreciate everything, all the support, all the love. Thanks again, guys, for everything. Remember, it's about the journey, not the destination. I won't see you guys next Tuesday, so have a safe, fun 4th of July weekend, and we'll see you guys the week after that. Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of your week.